I'm Charlotte Lewis with Share with Charlotte, where emphasis is placed on finding balance in relationships. I am the creator and host, and I just want to say thank you for tuning in to a new episode, which is one that it's a lot to this one. This was an emotional roller coaster for me to even grasp or comprehend. But I titled this one, When It's All on Me, Surviving the Solo Caregiving Journey. And it really is a part two or a spinoff from the first one, which is when caregiving becomes the call. And I would encourage you to go and listen to that one as well. But let me dive more into this one, because this one really grabbed me. And it's like it was just so much, because in my mind, I could feel where people are. It just gripped my heart from when people feel like they are the caregiving in a caregiving situation, but they're literally going it alone, and they're having to endure all of this on their own. And it just gripped me, because I know how tough it was even for my older sister when my dad was helping her and she was a caregiver. But can you just imagine when all of this falls on you and you're having to just manage this and still maintain some sense of balance in yourself? But let's talk about that, because 66% are women who are caregivers. 1 out of every 4 American families, someone is taking care of a family who's over the age of 50, who are 50 years old or older. And 40% of the people who are caregivers, people with dementia and Alzheimer, 40% will die. The likelihood they're going to die before the one they care for. And worse than that, if you're 70 years or older, and you're in the position of caregiver of someone who has dementia or Alzheimer, then you're 70% likely that you're going to die before the one you're caring for. And guys, those numbers are high. But this subject actually was inspired by someone who wrote as a comment and just said that they were just going through a lot of things as a caregiver. And it was with their husband, who had family, had children, and extended family, but didn't have the support of actually helping to assist with his care. And they was at a place of breaking, because that's why there's a 40% rate of death, because people really do die from this as a caregiver. When you're so overwhelmed and emotionally, physically, and you become sick and to the point of death. And so that inspired this subject. But this particular one, what they wrote, I felt her pain. I felt where she was, and I want to just really dive more into this, because she's not alone. It happens a lot when someone carries the burden or the experience or the whole situation at hand on their own. So I was just researching, and I came across, I'm just going to read 4. And this was some people that wrote in and just gave a little short synopsis of their experience. This particular one was written 2 months ago. And it says, I've aged 10 years since my mom moved in with me. I also have lost 3 family members in a few years, my dad, sister, and a nephew, and I feel like I haven't even been able to grieve properly. My husband works full-time and tries to help when he can, but basically I have my mom 22 hours a day, and it's tough. That was one. The second said, and this was 2 months ago, was written, I aged so much during the year I took care of my mom. Now that she's in memory care, I'm taking better care of myself, but I think some of the damage is permanent. Another one wrote 2 months ago, I feel like I might die before my dad during his last 8 weeks. Neither of us are getting much sleep, and I really thought that I might die. This was a year and a half ago. Now I feel like I'm having a heart attack this whole last week, because I'm in a similar situation now with my mom. It's just so stressful and too much! ! And this was written actually 3 months ago. I had to handle everything. with my mom and aged about 5 years and 6 months. Two ER trips, new lifelong, which is cardiac problems, 2 times a hoarded jump into the dumpster, dealt with the toxicity of both the loved ones and family who didn't raise a finger to help. I seriously had thoughts like, if I could hit that overpass at 80 miles an hour, it should be quick and painless. Now that was 4 people that wrote and posted. But you can hear the grief and you can hear the stress level. You can hear the desperation and just what they endure and just this emotional turmoil of trying to take care of a loved one, of a family, even one that's even had the thought of suicide. Because it's hard for people to let go. Even when they know they're dying in it, they choose to even die in it. And what one lady says, I just knew I was going to die. I'm anticipating death, and I'm still staying in it. Wow. And let's talk about some of the reasons, why people, even if they know they could possibly die in it, they still stay. So this is like, why is it difficult to let go when you are dying in your role as caregiver? And so I looked at some things, and one being guilt and a sense of failure. And it says many caregivers feel that placing a loved one in a facility means that you're giving up or you failed as a role. And I've done podcasts, episodes on failure. People hate to fail. And a lot of times people would die. At least they feel like they died without failure. But they would die before they fail at something. The strong emotional pull to fulfill a promise. Like they would tell someone, I would never put you in a home. Even if to the point it would kill me to keep you out of one. But I gave you my word, I gave you my promise. So therefore that guilt of not fulfilling that promise. And so a lot of times, yes, they would die than to not fulfill that promise. And then what about the one that says love and attachment? They love their family member deeply, and the thought of not seeing them every day, there's really a strong attachment that they have to see them on a daily. Or leaving them in the hands of strangers? Never. You feel emotionally unbearable. There's a fear that the loved one will feel abandoned, forgotten, or confused, and you refuse to put them in that situation where they will feel those emotions of abandonment, to feel forgotten, or in a state of confusion. Cultural and spiritual belief is another one. In many cultural and faith traditions, caregivers are seen as a sacred duty. It's a sacred duty. This is what we do. In this culture, we would never put our family member in any facility or nursing home or any service program or respite. None of that. Because we care for our own. And you may have heard that. We care for our own. But placing a parent or a spouse or a relative in a facility may go against your personal or cultural values. So it's a family responsibility. It's our honor and it's our spiritual service to make sure we care for our loved ones. And another one is distrust of facility. You heard a lot of things about facilities, what they do, or they neglect, or they abuse people or family members. And I would never put my loved one in a facility because I know they'll never take care of you on the level I would take care of you. I'm not going to put you in a situation where someone is going to mistreat you or anything or neglect you. So therefore, that's an absolute no. What about hope that things will improve? You're hanging on to hope. Maybe things just might get better. Maybe. but I'm not going to let you go. I'm just going to hang in there. I'm going to hang in there until you realize truly it's not going to get better. Because anybody with dementia or Alzheimer know that they don't get better. They only get worse to the point of ultimately dying. Identity and purpose is another reason. For long-term caregiver, the identity becomes tied to the caregiver's role. And it's because sometimes you don't even know who you are without being in the caregiving role. That's all you know. You've been doing this for years. Matter of fact, you don't even have a life anymore. Your friend, you've abandoned your friend, you abandoned other people, you don't socialize anymore. Why? Because this loved one needs you on a daily. You've even walked away from your job. You minimize even how you live because you're devoting everything to this person. This is your life. So that's what you know, and that's what you now have become accustomed to. So I'm not going to just leave, because leave for what? I have nothing else to leave for, because this is my life. Fear of regret. That's a big one. Fear that you place this loved one in a facility and something go wrong, or they'll pass away soon after. That guilt. That guilt of just, what did I do? And you know what's hard? What's really, really hard is to live with a fear of regret, because that's that guilt. I shouldn't have done it. If they was home, they might would have lived 2 years longer. But I put them in that facility. I put them in a nursing home, even though I was there every day. But I knew that wasn't home to them. And they died within 9 months, 6 months, 1 year. And you live with that regret. And another one, and the last one, is the lack of support or resources. You look at all the paperwork and all the stuff you got to do. You got to dot all your T's you cross your T's and dot all your I's. And just the process alone is overwhelming. And nobody's really helping you to get to this place of getting everything done so you can maybe put them into a facility. And you look at everything that it's gonna take to get to that place, and you're just saying, well, it's not even worth it. At least I know what this is. But now I got to do all of that just to get them to a place. Well, I'll just stay where I am, and I'll just do what I continue to do, because you're intimidated by the process. But those are some of the reasons. And I just wonder, with the one that actually wrote in, what is that particular person's reason as to saying I'm into the place really of breaking. This is so overwhelming. It is so much and too much for me. Even the ones that wrote in, I wonder which one of those that they feel that they couldn't let go, that they stayed in it even to the point I'm contemplating suicide, but I won't do anything about it. I'm going to just hang in there. Hang in there. I've aged, and it's taken me down fast. In 6 months, I've aged to the point of what they're saying that they had aged to the level of, and I forget how many years, I think it was like 6 years that they had found themselves aged to that level. And you're like, wow, and you still, no, they said I aged about 5 years and 6 months. My God, and you still hung in there. And you could not let go. I mean, you could not let go. So you wonder, why could you not let go when truly you're dying in it? So those are just some of the reasons. But what about if you choose a facility? Then how do you address that if you choose a facility? Or you're gonna be so consumed with the fact that now you regret it? Or now that you're looking at the fact that, now what do I do now that I've chosen a facility? Because the thing is, your choices has to be one that you actually can live with. Just know that. Whatever choice you make, it has to be the choice that you can live with, or into that place that God take you because you chose to die in it. But the sad thing to me is, even bigger than that, is when people really do have family, and they look at the fact that they don't help. But see the thing, and I've always said this and I still say this, the hardest thing that man is so bad at, and that is relationships. Because to be a caregiver, to assist, to help, it takes sacrifice. It takes you giving up your time. It takes you being sometime in a place of being uncomfortable. And a lot of people are not willing to do that for nobody. Nobody. But we love, so we say, but we put conditions on how we love them. I will love you only to a point of, or I may love you to a point of where I don't have to do much of anything. I'll love you from a distance, but don't ask me for nothing. But love has to be, when you all in, it has to be to a place of unconditional love. And a lot of people won't sacrifice. So as this person wrote in, they're going solo in this caregiving journey when they have people who clearly could say, let me help. And something wrong with that picture, because it should not have to be that. But then a lot of people, they look at it as if I let this person and if I choose a facility, then, and even though I know I can't continue to go on this alone, but I'm just going to hang in there. And then next thing you know, it's another year, and I'm going to hang in there a little longer. But you're choosing a lot of this, and your decision of being chosen without any real potential as to how it's affecting you, or you're not taking yourself to the level of any real priority as to how do you still manage. If you're going to do that, if you're not going to choose a facility, then how are you at least managing yourself while you're in it? See, that's the key. If you're not going to choose a facility, or if you're not going to use respite care, or you're not going to take the break you need, or if you're just going to keep this person, you got to do this on a solo, then what are you doing to manage while you're there? Because clearly the family's saying we're not going to help you. Clearly the family's saying it's your problem and not mine. Clearly the family's saying don't count on me because I'm not going to be available. So you really have to look at then how do you manage you, because you decide that you are going to go solo in your caregiving journey for your loved one. So how do you manage that is also how you take care of yourself. Because if not, then I'm telling you, you're going to die in it. Because 40% of caregivers do die before the one that they're caring for. Remember that. Okay, so let's look at that part. Because if you're in a place of where you're having extreme anxiety, depression, sleeplessness, because all this stuff is in your head of what you got to do and all the stuff that you did today and how this person acted today, because dementia and Alzheimer are your worst people to take care of. So we know you're having some sleepless nights. We know you're irritable. We know that you had to give up a lot when it comes to socializing. We know that you had to give up family, you had to give up a lot on friends, because you always have to be with this person. And that's a social withdrawal. And what about just exhaustion? You're just tired. You're just tired that you can't even complete the simple task because you're too much and too busy taking care of this one person, because it's exhausting. And your lack of concentration, because it's just too much. You're losing thought. You're losing things on your own because you're so consumed by what you even have to do that you're losing your own self. And then what about your own health issues? And that's what this individual said. They got their own health issues, which we know because my sister died of 2 different cancers, trying to take care of my dad, lymphoma cancer as well as colon cancer. She died. And we know that her caring for my dad only escalated, only created a level of extreme for the health she already had. It just added to it, because stress is a silent killer. It only elevated things. We know that. So if you have health issues and you know you have health issues, or you're going to the doctor like you're supposed to, or you're caring for yourself like you're supposed to, because keep in mind, if you're not caring for yourself, I want you to really realize this. If you're not caring for yourself properly, you're not doing things for yourself to make sure you're good. The one place you're trying not to have your loved one to go is the very place they will go when you die. So now you're gone, and then they still gone. Because they're going to a facility. Because even while you was here helping, this person got no help from anybody except you. So what the likelihood of somebody else picking this loved one and taking them in is very highly unlikely. So are you doing any good for yourself when you're willing to die in something to keep someone out of something and they still end up in something? No. So you look at that, and then just the anger that you have because you don't have the help, and the level of frustration that you have is a lot. It's a lot. And don't feel guilty because you feel these things. Because first of all, you're human. We only can take so much, and really honestly, we can only give so much before it take a toll on us. So don't feel like that you have to feel bad because you feel the way you feel. But those are normal human emotions for a very good reason why you feel it. So don't beat yourself up because you're angry at the family. Don't beat yourself up because you're frustrated because of what they won't do to help you. And don't feel because you're overwhelmed like you're supposed to be some superhero, that superwoman or superman, that you don't have a breaking point. We all have a point of break. We all have a point of break. Know that. You don't owe no one an apology for you being angry when you don't get the help. You don't owe no one an apology for your frustration, for your level of anxiety, or just being overwhelmed. You don't. But you have to decide to what level you're willing and to what extent you're willing to go before you have to make another decision. Now, if your choice is to stay in it and God take you home while you're in it, because of those reasons that I mentioned, that you don't want to live through any of those, then that is your choice to make. But it is sad when people see you falling and no one try to catch you. Now that's sad. When people see you falling in this caregiving role and no one try to catch you, it's sad. And the thing is, you can't make people be what they're not. Just know that. If there's somebody who just don't care enough to give up something or to do something, you cannot make them. The only thing you can do is control your own decision. That's it. That's it. But the ones who are getting sick in it, and may even came in with no sickness, but end up being sick in it, or even came into it with some level of sickness, and then that sickness heightened because of their position as caregiver. They gave it a name called caregiver syndrome, because the caregiving syndrome is a debilitating condition brought on by unrelieved, constant caring for a person with a chronic illness or dementia. You don't get relief. You don't get that point of these breaks, or you don't get where you can go and have some me time. It's constant. And it says constant caring because you don't get the relief. And you now in a place of your own caregiver syndrome. You are now sick like they're sick. And it says, for example, a person caring for someone with dementia may develop a progressive memory loss. Think about that. You didn't have a memory loss, but you're now taking on the traits of someone with dementia. And you could do that without even knowing that it's happening. And next thing you know, you've taken on the traits in which of the person you're caring for that has dementia. And worse still, this syndrome, and this is the sad part, this syndrome can actually lead to death. This is serious stuff. And as I was just reading and researching, and it's just like, wow, this is a lot that someone take on when you are literally all in by yourself. And it just bothered me. It really bothered me that you have family and I have to keep going back to that just won't help. And if you're out there listening and you know somebody is caring for someone that you care about, it don't have to be someone close like your mom or your dad or your sister or your brother. It could be somebody that you know of even as a friend. It could be for someone that you know even as a distant relative. But are you willing to do something to just try to help? Are you willing to do something? Because to go in as a caregiving on a solo basis, it got to be tough. And I mean really tough. And it says, caregivers are usually so immersed in their role that they neglect their own care. And grief associated with the decline in the health of their loved one. They have just neglected their own as far as taking care of themselves because it's the grief. They're just in grief of seeing their loved one continuously go down. They're so consumed in watching the one that they're caring for that they're not even looking at their own health until a lot of time it's too late. But I'm telling you, you gotta also take care of you in order to really take care of someone else. So if you choose to stay, I want to encourage you to prioritize your self-care. Make sure that you're taking care of you. Just like the ones that I read about, just like the one that wrote in and wrote to me. Said nothing about leaving. The other ones I wrote about, they wrote in, and I got off the internet, and they said nothing about leaving. So please prioritize your self-care. Seek support, and that is like join support groups. You know you can't count on the one that you know. But what about joining a support group like my sister said in the previous one? Because they understand your situation. Sometimes our pride, that we think we can do this. Well, they're not going to help me, so I'm just going to do it myself. If anything, like I'm just going to show them that I can do it. And you die trying to show them. But join a support group. Because you're talking about the same stuff, so they understand your dilemma. They feel your pain, and they truly understand where you are. Stay informed, which is learn about dementia. It's progressiveness. The more education you can get regarding this illness on dementia, Alzheimer, the more you're able to relate to what's getting ready to happen, or the one you'll be prepared to what's coming. Get educated. Don't go in blind just waiting for something to happen next and just see the progression without being in a place of readiness to deal with it. Get educated. Because that's critically important. Use relaxation techniques. And all it says is that whether it's yoga, meditation, or deep breathing, when you see yourself getting overwhelmed, before you go there, take deep breath to calm yourself. Take deep breath. Just inhale, exhale. Because not just your mind is going to pivoting to a high level, your body is also in stress. Just know that. And it says 10 symptoms of caregiving stress. And we talked about that too with depression, exhaustion, and all of that. So I want you to just think about the fact that what can you do? Take a break. Go take a walk. I mean, if he needs to walk with you, take him with you. Go for a walk. Get out the house. Do something out of that environment. Do something that's different. And it talks about the meditation. 15 minutes a day of letting go. Think of something or meditate on something different. Take your mind to some other place other than where you are. And it talks about 2 things to do is progressive muscle relaxation. Do you know when your mind is in turmoil, so is your body? And it says your body parts. Your body is in distress, just like you in distress. So it just says what it does is tightening and then relaxing each muscle group. You can start with your arms, your shoulders, tense up here and then just relax. Your fingers, your arms, your legs, your feet. Tighten up and then relax. Loosen your body because your mind is in distress. Your body is in distress. And it's saying to find time for yourself. Don't be in a place that you don't feel you can use respite. Don't go to that place I feel guilty. Oh, if I put him in there, he's not going to be well. He's going to act up. He's going to that. But you know what? It's only temporary. But the thing is that break is what you need. You need a break. You need a moment. You need to exhale. You need something for yourself. You need something for you. And it says that find time for yourself without you feeling guilty because you've taken a few days. Without you feeling guilty. But take some time also for yourself. The main thing is to please take care of yourself. And please make your legal and financial plans, whatever that is, so that you don't get caught off guard on what that is. Because it's always, in the end, as they say, it always leads to death, but that's just being in a place of preparation. I'm going to also have put on the screen different services and programs that you can use. And as before, from YouTube's, there's a lot of things that you can look at through YouTube that can help you in terms of taking care of yourself. You can, matter of fact, it's going to be on, you can look at Deepa Snow, which was put on the last one, Bamboo Care, Dementia with Grace, Pamela D. Wilson, and here's some other one, Dementia Careblazers, Carekind and Heart of Alzheimer Caregiving, Dementia Caregiving Made Easier. These are some things that you can find on YouTube that can actually help you. Resources, I'm just saying, make sure that you look at all your resources. But I'm just telling you, if you're not doing anything, please get into a group. I'm just telling you because they understand you more than anybody will ever understand you. But you already know your situation with the family. You cannot count on them. But you got to do something to help save yourself if you're going to stay in it. But if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't prioritize yourself, you're going to die in it. And that loved one, again, that you're trying to keep out of something is going to go into something. So that is not going to help you. And I do want to say this to you, and that is, please, you're only human. You're only human. We all have limitations on what we can and can't do, what we can endure and what we can't endure. You don't have to apologize if you've reached your limit. You're only human. I don't see anybody else going to the level in which you're going. But you don't have to apologize for the decisions that you make. And that's whether you stay, if you stay with it, or whether you place them in a facility or a home or nursing care, memory care, or whatever that may be. You don't have to apologize for any of that. But if you choose to stay, please take care of yourself. Please take care of yourself. Because the whole goal for you staying is to make sure that you take care of them. Well, to take care of them, you got to first take care of you. Let me say that again. To take care of them, you got to first take care of you. So if you're not taking care of you, then you're putting them in a position where they're going to be in a place. Because eventually, I'm just telling you, seriously, take this serious as a caregiver if you're going solo. Because that 40% of caregivers who are dying before the one they're caring for is real. It's real. But I commend you. I commend you. I commend you. I commend you on what you're doing. I commend you. I commend you for the sacrifice. I commend you for airing out things that you're putting your life on hold, that you're giving your life to this person. I commend you. But you never have to apologize if you feel that you've done all you can. You don't have to apologize for that. But I want to thank you for tuning in for this particular episode. I hope it's one that actually have enlightened you, one that has helped you. I don't know where you are and where if you in that place of guilt, and if you're in that place of whether or not you just feel you just can't do it. I don't know where you are. I don't know where you are. I don't know if you're in that place of breaking. I don't know if you're at that crossroad. I don't know where you are. And I don't know who this message is for other than the one who wrote in. But I just want to say thank you for the service that you do. That goes far and beyond than what a lot of times you even have to do. I thank you for that. Please check me out on my Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and subscribe and follow if you have not yet done so. If you like this message, click the like button. If you want to share this message, please share this message to someone you think could benefit from it. And this is also season 3 again, as far as letter writing. Please write in to me. Write into char@sharewithcharlotte.com. Write in to me your story or whatever you want to share with me. Write in, please. I encourage that, because this is a letter from you to me. It's season 3 is all part of writing. That I want to share what you write to me with listeners that are tuning in. So thank you for being a part of my journey with Share It with Charlotte. And I just want to say I appreciate the love and I appreciate the encouragement. And I really, truly hope that this really has helped some of you who are in need of this. And there was something I wanted to give you, and it'll be on the screen as far as services and programs that you can tag into. And again, thank you. Oh, and before I go, please leave your comments. I know I'm getting a lot of them on my personal text, email, things like that, and even personal calls. But please write your comments on my page. I would really appreciate that, so it can be blessing other people as well. So thank you so much.